Magandang hapon mga kababayan. Ako po si G. Tanji. Welcome to our program, Kababayan Today. Today we're talking about the Trump effect. Let's watch this.
How do you think we're going to come together and solve the issue of a divided America?
Yeah, I think for us to come together, like I said, we have to accept the fact that Trump is now our president, and I think we need to realize that things aren't going to be as bad as people think it's going to be, because there's all those checks and balances in place with the government, and yeah, he might want to build this wall, so to speak, as an example, but he might not be approved because of these checks and balances that are in place because of the reasons like this that our government has.
And what do you think of the rhetoric of Donald Trump in regards to immigrants and what they contribute to this country or what they don't contribute?
Well, I feel that he has to bridge the gap he has created on his own, and I'm very much skeptical as to how would he be able to reassure the ones he has offended. All I can say is that Thomas Jefferson had written in his Declaration of Independence a line which said, "Pursuit of happiness." I have my huge reservations whether he would be able to accomplish that. And I have been reading the newspapers, and I have a deep concern about what happens in US, because you see, US is a country which sets a precedent for the other countries, specifically South Asian countries. So I have my huge concerns. I hope good sense prevails.
All right, that was Aaron Quill, and joining us on our program to talk about this, kasama natin Attorney Allison Aquino Silva. Of course, she is our immigration resident lawyer here on Kababayan Today. Joining her is Angelo Ancheta, who is a civil rights attorney based in San Francisco. He's been a law professor and has worked on civil rights issues in the nonprofit sector in California. Was recently invited to the White House to discuss diversity. And joining us also is Daniel Ferguson. Daniel Ferguson is a filmmaker, and you saw his footage. He is responsible for that. He, of course, has done a lot of work in the entertainment industry. People are living in fear. Right. We want to talk about the law, and we want to talk about how this Trump effect is really taking over this country. Let's start off with you, Attorney Ancheta. Being that you are a lawyer, what can you share in terms of the law that can appease people?
Well, I think we're still, as we're looking to the Trump presidency, we're still dealing with a lot of uncertainty. So it's not entirely clear in terms of policy, what's going to come out of the federal government, what's going to come out of the White House. But we know just from the campaign and the rhetoric that's been generated, as well as things that are happening across the country, that it's a very uncertain but very troubling time as well. So areas like civil rights enforcement, immigration, immigrant rights, civil liberties, religious liberties, these are all areas of the law that I think are going to be greatly affected by the incoming presidency. And it's not clear that it's going to be very good for a lot of minorities that are dealing with these issues on an ongoing basis.
Okay, let's talk about the immigration aspect. Attorney Allison Aquino Silva, people are scared. Are they overreacting?
People are panicked. The day after and up until now, we get calls every day from clients who are scared. And these are clients who range from being undocumented to even being permanent residents and those who are here legally on some type of temporary visa. People just don't know what is going to take place. As far as whether they're overreacting, I think the main emphasis is that people need to not panic at this point in time, because just like Mr. Ancheta had mentioned, a lot of this is uncertain. We really don't know whether what he has discussed during the campaign is actually going to come to light. There are policies such as the DREAM Act that were implemented by President Obama, which the future is uncertain. What people need to emphasize, people need to do right now is to be patient. Let's see how this administration is going to move forward, whether they are going to move forward with some of their very strict enforcement policies, whether they're going to take actions to roll back DACA and move forward with some of the policies that they've talked about, detaining and removing criminal aliens, and trying to seek expedited removal of individuals. People need to not panic. We do have checks and balances, just like mentioned on the video. There is a lot of rhetoric, but there's also ways in which to protect individuals here in the U.S.
Okay. Daniel, I want to talk to you because you were out there on the ground filming this documentary, and we'll talk more about that project. But what is the beat of the people on the streets?
One of the things that's absolutely consistent is there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of uncertainty. We have, well, this young lady also said that we didn't get to hear. We have two Americas. We have one group of people who are very comfortable with what's going on, very happy with what's going on, with the transition, because it doesn't necessarily affect them. And then we have everyone else, you know, who are afraid for their families that may be immigrants, and afraid for their families who may be affected by the policies that have been threatened by the incoming administration. So there's a lot of emotion. You know, we're fraught with emotion right now.
All right, join us on Kababayan Today. When we return, we're going to discuss more of this Trump effect on not just Filipino Americans, but immigrants and all people that live here in the United States. We'll be right back.